Hey guys, big news day today. AirPods Pro have been confirmed. That's the naming of Apple's upcoming AirPods, and I have an exclusive leak on those. The iPhone SE 2, we have a pricing and relative release date, and some stuff on the 2020 iPhones, and more Apple news. Now before we begin, just wanted to say I'm still finishing up the giveaway. We have 2 days left until we're giving away 8 iPhones with Mr. Who's the Boss. Last chance, link down below. And for this video exclusively, I'm giving away 6 AirPods that I found in my safe. For some reason I still have these, and one with a wireless charging case. So to win one of those, go follow my new Phone Rebel Cases page on Instagram, like and comment on the latest post, and I'll be announcing winners in about a week here. Okay, let's get into the news. So most recently, a report out of China from EDN is claiming that Apple will be calling their upcoming AirPods AirPods Pro. It'll be a different line from the AirPods 2 or AirPods 1, a more professional version of the AirPods, and we've already seen that design being leaked. They're basically confirming the naming will go Pro. It makes sense. The new iPhones have gone Pro. We have the iPad Pro, Macbook Pro. Apple's pretty much putting its entire line into a consumer version and then a Pro version for also consumers. I mean, the new iPhones are hardly Pro, but the naming works. They're also claiming the pricing will be going up, of course, with that Pro naming. How can it not? From $200 to $250. That doesn't sound too bad if this will indeed be a more professional version of the AirPods, and we'll get into those details as to why it'll be Pro. And from the guys over at Pitaka that make these really cool cases, they sent me this, a hands-on with the upcoming AirPods Pro, and it gives us a cleaner image of that leaked prototype casing, essentially confirming everything that we know. This is the design of Apple's upcoming AirPods Pro. It looks very similar to AirPods 2, just an elongated casing, button on the back, LED on the front, very similar looking hinge, just a little beefier. And it appears Apple didn't stray too far from AirPods 2 design, pretty much the same thing here. On the inside, we've already seen the confirmed design from Apple in the iOS leak, and all in all, it's a beefier, slightly larger version of the AirPods in ear. These are likely to be water resistant and of course have a host of new features. And in Pitaka's memo to me, they're saying that between insiders, the number $359 is going around, which really seems excessive. Who would pay that much more over standard AirPods for the Pro naming? It just doesn't seem justified. I'm hoping that's a mistake and it's $259, which seems fair, matching up to the EDN report. And if you want your own plastic prototype AirPods Pro casing, Vanya Geskin says you can buy it for $40,000 via Bitcoin or cash in person. Take that as you will. And I have an exclusive report with Max Weinbach regarding AirPods Pro. Before that report broke today, he did confirm to me that AirPods Pro will be the correct naming for these upcoming AirPods. Some details about the casing. It will support wireless charging, and the battery life in the casing itself will be about double that of AirPods 2 or original AirPods. Also, the battery life will be better in the actual stems or the AirPods themselves, although he isn't aware of how much better it will be over AirPods 2. And way back in the day, I actually brought you a leak with Max Weinbach regarding AirPods and the casing itself being larger on the upcoming version. That wasn't correct for AirPods 2. It was correct here. It's obviously a larger casing. And in that report, fast charging was also mentioned, that Apple will have a faster charge option for these AirPods Pro. So you'll be able to potentially recharge not only the AirPods inside, but the casing itself faster than standard AirPods 2. And a 50-50 chance that a matte black colorway will make it into production. Max Weinbach says it's unclear at this point if Apple will be pursuing that, but we did hear rumors about that for AirPods 2 originally from actually several different sources, that Apple was looking into matte black AirPods. That's definitely one of my biggest feature requests for upcoming AirPods. And as for release date, Apple will announce these at their next hardware event, which Max Weinbach says will likely be spring 2020. I'm less and less convinced that we'll even see an October event this year. It's quite late for them to be sending out invites, but I'll wait until Monday or Tuesday to pass judgment on that. Neil Seibart says that if there were to be an October event, it would likely be on October 28th, maybe 29th, but no later. And if we don't see one in October, the next one will of course be in spring. And lastly, a request for the AirPods Pro. I really hope that Apple will include the U1 chip inside of the casing, allowing the AirPods Pro to be tracked within a few feet within a building. This chip was included in the 11 and 11 Pros this year, an ultra-wideband sensor. The potential for it is huge. There's actually a write-up I'll include down below that goes into detail as to why this is one of the biggest, most monumental things to happen with the 11 Pro this year, and to be included in the upcoming AirPods, which they speculate it may be, would be revolutionary. You'd never lose them again. You know exactly where they were in the building without needing sound or something complicated like that. And not to mention perimeter fencing. If you left your AirPods Pro behind, your iPhone could notify you, letting you know how many feet you walked from them. Really cool stuff. And my boy Ming-Chi Kuo is back with a new report on the iPhone SE 2. He's claiming Apple will be launching it in Q1 of 2020, further leading credence to the fact that Apple will have a spring event, and it'll have a starting base price of $399 with 64 gigabytes. Likely to jump up to $449, I'm guessing, maybe $499 at 128 gigabytes. And he gave some hardware details. We'll see the Apple A13 Bionic inside, 3 gigabytes of RAM, and 3 colors: silver, space gray, and red. Probably product red since this is being derived from an iPhone 8 design. And he confirms no 3D touch. I'm a little disappointed that they won't add a new colorway if he's correct, since this is a special edition, but then again, it may not even be called the iPhone SE. Ben Lovejoy of 9to5Mac speculates that this will not be an iPhone SE 2 as everyone is naming it. Apple will have their own dedicated name for this device, and from a report back in April from Economic Daily News, they claimed the iPhone SE 2 would be called the iPhone XE, which actually makes sense to me, although I don't know what that would stand for, 10 edition. And a report from Dan Ives at Wedbush claims that all 4 new iPhones in 2020, likely including this SE, will have 5G capability, rear 3D sensing cameras, and motion control, whatever that means, possibly radar control, like gestures, like on the new Pixel 4. To me, it seems really unlikely that Apple would add 5G and a 3D sensing camera to the iPhone SE, but just wanted to include that. Ming-Chi Kuo also claimed that the iPad with a rear 3D sensing camera will be arriving in Q1 of 2020, which leads me to believe that a spring event is far more likely than an October event this year, as the iPad is on a 1.5-year release cycle, and that triple lens camera, basically just confirmed by Ming-Chi Kuo, will be happening in the spring. Ming-Chi Kuo himself did say that the rear 3D sensing camera would only be happening on 2 of the 2020 iPhones, the iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro likely. And Ming-Chi Kuo delivers some bad news on the 2020 iPhones, saying they will likely be more expensive, significantly so because of 2 things. One, the new frame design, because of some new composite materials Apple will be using, and that new iPhone 4-like sandwich design. Apple is putting significant resources here into that and making it work, and 5G connectivity. If you thought 5G would be cheap, you are wrong. You will likely be paying more for your service and for the phone supporting that service, as Apple will be paying royalties to Qualcomm for their 5G modems up until likely 2022. Fast Company is saying that that's the strict deadline when Apple wants to develop their in-house modem, although they do speculate that it likely won't happen because of all the testing and certification required to develop its own modem, and they're pushing that date back to 2023 predicted release date for Apple's in-house 5G modem. By the way, we adjusted our 2020 iPhone design, made it a bit sleeker. It still has a rounded profile. We tried to keep that as much as possible because I'm more than positive Apple will, but still be more blocky, iPhone 4-like, as the leaks suggested. And then we'll be adjusting that as we learn more and more leaks throughout 2020. And from the madman over at Strange Parts, Scotty, he's trying to put USB-C or install a USB-C port on the iPhone 11 Pro. He's a guy that was known for the headphone jack, and I really wish him the best. I would love to see this before Apple adds it on their own 2020 iPhones. And the 16-inch MacBook Pro design has leaked. Let's just say I'm extremely disappointed, not at all what I expected from such a big refresh. Found by Mac Generation in the latest beta of macOS, some pictures referencing the 16-inch MacBook Pro directly, and when you overlay them with the 15-inch, you can tell that it is different. The leaks did say that the bezels would be shrinking. Indeed they have, but not by much. I mean, the Dell XPSs look way more futuristic than this. The bottom portion got a little wider, I'm assuming a bigger battery. It will be a much more capable computer, and Apple is beefing it up, although I expected the display to look a lot more futuristic. Regardless, I am still excited for it. I'd like a larger display, and even a midnight green edition. Is that too much to ask for? I think that one would be interesting too. Midnight green, all the things. And for those of you with an older iPhone 10 or 10s that wanted an 11 Pro but didn't want to splurge, here's an easy mod for you. Just take this sticker, pop it on the back. No shell swap even necessary to get that 11 Pro look. Thought this was the highlight of the week, really funny. I'm sure it'll fool a good amount of people. And a completely pointless mod, but one that made me go cool. You can turn an 11 Pro into an 11 Pro Max with a simple transistor swap on the logic board. They're the same logic board except for that one transistor, and then it'll show up as an 11 Pro Max in your settings. Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it's possible. Tech published their iPhone 11 Pro review. Inside, they're claiming that the A13 processor in the 11 Pro is twice as fast as the competition. And this goes in line with the new Snapdragon 865 processor benchmarks that just leaked, which showed improvement over the 855, but not as much as you'd think, still behind the Apple A13 considerably in the single-core score by about 1250 points. Multi-core is almost there. And okay guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Do participate in the iPhone 11 giveaway if you haven't already, and 6 new AirPods being given away on Phone Rebel. All details down below. Thanks for watching. Peace.